Okay, so I'm here and moving right along. The Lord will bless his people with peace. This could be somebody who's trying to escape a situation, somebody who's dealing with some monitoring spirits, or maybe you feel like the people on the television can see you. You hear some chattering in the background, you feel like it has something to do with you, and it's kind of distracting you. I feel like you might be surrounded by some low income. Maybe you live in a poor environment so that you can hear everything that's going on. So just keep that in mind that if you had a different situation, you like say you could work in a studio or something, then you wouldn't have to analyze what's going on so much. So I feel like it's just about ignoring and knowing that God is going to protect you from anything that you feel like you're being attacked by. But I'm seeing you basically wanting to get out of this situation into an area where you can focus on your work a little more, and not necessarily like some big old mansion or some gated community, but just an area where the people around you are also working dreams and goals, and don't rely on you so much for their entertainment. Going to a place where it's normal to have internet access, is normal to be interested in, you know, your own For You page. But I feel like you have patience and you have the willpower to save to get you into this new place. But it's very true. You are being stalked, you are being watched, and these people are very idle. They are kind of building their lives around you. Like, even if you get up at 6 in the morning and you're like, why is it, even if I get up at 6 p.m., I still feel like the world starts when I start. And that's because it does. You know, you're around people who don't have jobs, who don't have a life, and they really want your attention. Like they really want to prove to you that they're not like what their parents said they were or whatever. And just like you can feel the energy all around you when it really has nothing to do with you. Ace of Pentacles. I feel like even in spite of you saving, it's still not going to be enough for you to move out. And eventually something's going to come in. You doing something to make this money on your own. And I feel like you already know what that is. Okay, this may be something you've turned away from in the past, something that broke your heart or caused you some type of anxiety. So maybe you left a job, or maybe you owned a job that you didn't want to do anymore because you felt like you deserved better. And now I'm feeling like you might have to go back to that job to put yourself on a higher level. And this is something to think about if this is confirmation for you, not to go out your way to do something you don't want to do. Okay. What? It's a lot of heavy emotions right now. Like like you really don't want to do this. So I feel like if that's the case, because it's so much, isn't, and especially since it's all about the money, is it's not worth it. If you really don't want to do it, then don't do it, and just kind of get over the fact that you live in a trailer, or whoever I'm talking to, and you can hear everything going on around you. Maybe go for a walk or something, or do what you got to do. If you don't want to do what you don't want to do, then do what you got to do. And that's just to survive and get over whatever situation is that's depressing you. And realize you're not alone. I mean, you can never be alone because people like you and they want to be around you, for one. But even in your situation of wanting to be alone and not wanting to be stalked by people you don't want to be around is also something that other people are dealing with. Of Swords, Ten of Wands, Nine of Pentacles, and Six of Swords. All right, Six of Swords, I believe, is the guy leaving a situation. Because I feel like it's better for you to pack a bag and go wandering around in the woods than to start a job that you don't feel happy. change, transition, need to release baggage. Look at that. Yeah, I feel like you're gonna get so much more out of life by, like I said, living in the woods or doing something like that. I feel like you might live in an area where there is a lot of nature, and you'll learn so much more survival skills. And this might not be literal. This could be you just branching out and doing something new, doing something different that doesn't involve other people getting tangled up in your emotions. Because I feel like that's what you're dealing with right now. People who are all ears, waiting for a moment that they can you get your attention and just vibe with your frequency. And for them, that's normal. For them, it's worth waiting around to see if you'll notice them, or, you know, it's like you're a celebrity. But for you, it's a mental illness, and it's always going to be a mental illness. It's just not normal to tangle yourself up and not do things according to your own rhythm. I'm seeing the like a puppet, like a puppeteer. Those puppeteers who walk around with the life size puppets tied to, like, a row of life size puppets on your left and a row of life size puppets to your right, moving their arms with your arms, moving their legs with your legs. And for them, it's like that's the perfect setup. We get to be just like her. We get to vibe off of her emotions and do everything she's doing or do everything he's doing. But for you, it's a dead weight, is a nuisance, is a problem. And that's what matters. How is this being interpreted to you? How do you feel about the situation? And I feel like it's just, this is happening to you at work. This is happening to you at home. Even on the road, you can see people following you. Like, oh, she's making all the lights. You know, like, he's finding the lanes that's getting me closer to my destination. Which at some point they are just following you. They are curious enough to just want to know where this person is going. Like, what kind of life do they live? I could be talking to somebody who needs to get on social media and build up your actual fan base so that you are being paid for this attention, stalking you to this level. Then you're clearly an interesting person. And at some point, you might have to hire a camera crew to actually follow you around and see what it is that you're doing. I feel like it's somebody who's just living a normal life, but ultimately, what's normal to you is spectacular to the average viewer, and they're going to be so amazed. I could be talking to a van lifer, like, maybe you live in your car and people are just so curious about how that situation will work out for you. Like, where do you look? All this stuff is very interesting to them. So you have Eight of Pentacles and Ten of Hearts. Yeah, I just see it moving. I see this money that you turned down because you didn't want to do something, to turn into so much more, because you're doing what you want to do and you're learning to be more compassionate or madly in love with you. The more I think about it, the more I'm seeing this crowd getting larger and larger. Like, I'm talking to somebody who might be a singer. The crowd is just getting bigger and bigger. Or this could be somebody who started off small and is moving into a larger venue. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? I could be talking to somebody who does not want to be in the limelight, but this is a place where you're being pushed, and it's for doing normal things. Like, this could be somebody who just likes to sing, and people listen every time you start, and you're just like, I need to go somewhere and I can't be heard. I want my own studio, this, that, and the third. But the reality is, at the end of the day, you're gonna have an audience no matter what you're doing. And that's the point of it. I mean, it's not the point, but that's how the system has worked itself out. That's how the industry grew and formed around people with this type of talent. They're not out there doing things on their own. They're being watched. They're being studied. They're being admired. And this is the position for you. And repentance and rest is your salvation, and quietness and trust is your strength. So again, I'm hearing you being afraid of wanting to. I'm seeing 1001 on the clock of you being beautiful, symmetrical, something that people idolize, being on point with your life and the way you want to live. You still want this quiet time to yourself, and you're kind of afraid to expose yourself to the world. But this is what I'm feeling like. You're not gonna have to do anything against your nature. Like if it's about recording yourself, just do it naturally. Patient with yourself. Like I'm not performing for the world. I'm just clicking record and recording a little moment or a little scene in my life that's happening naturally. And then when you sit down to do the editing, you're like, I'm just here. I'm just working on the computer, just living my natural, normal life. You might even set up a second camera or a third camera to watch you doing the normal editing. You could set up a camera to show yourself doing the vlogging or whatever it is you do backstage. I say all this to say you have support. If you have anxiety, you have support for that. If you need to hire a camera crew, you will have the finances for that. You will have the editor and everything. Because I feel like I'm talking to somebody who really needs to put their info out there. You need to put your aura and your vibe out there. People are going to play your music to help comfort their own soul, and you're going to be the voice in other people's ears. So people who are being stalked right now, who need your voice in the background, to help cancel out the demons that they're battling right now, and distracting them from what they really. All right. So when you put yourself out there, you're really helping people who need you. And so what if the consequences that the people who want it so bad, the fiends, the fans, get what they want at the end of the day? So what? You can't win them all.